Welcome to New Awakenings with Edgar Cayce's A.R.E., where together, through some incredible conversations, we go on beautiful journeys of discovery that could shape the way you think about things and might even change your life.
Our guest today is a longtime staff member here at the A.R.E., having joined in 2001 and worked in several different departments here at the A.R.E., currently serving as the tours coordinator. Now, she graduated from the Reilly School of Massage in 2002, where not only did she gain her certification, but she also actively contributed as a faculty member and a therapist here at the A.R.E. Health Center and Spa.
Now, she's traveled on multiple A.R.E. tours and attended many of the conferences here at the A.R.E. and in the field. And she combines her deep appreciation for the Cayce material and her many eclectic interests to truly bring a unique perspective to her work. And we are very thrilled that she is joining us today on the show. Welcome, Renee Branch.
Thank you.
We're very happy to have you here, so thank you for joining us.
Nice to be here.
I'm really curious to see where our conversation is going to go, because you have had your finger in so many different parts of the A.R.E. that this is going to be fun, a little hop. Now, having said that, we are here specifically because we wanted to discuss the Cayce remedies more than anything else. So, to connect the dots for us, how did you go from massage to travel to holistic health?
I'd have to say I've always been really eclectic in my belief systems and interests, and I've not limited myself to just being in a little box. I've always enjoyed traveling, and I think I was working as a Mac monkey in a graphic design place, and I'd go up behind people and start rubbing their necks. Oh. And they were all like, "Oh, I'll give you an hour to stop." And then some people would go, "Oh, you should do this for a living." And I'm like, I had no idea that you could actually do that as a living. And I got to venture inward, and there was an ad for the school. So I was like, okay. My friends were asking me to go on another trip. We had just come back from Italy. We were planning to go to Ireland. And I said I could spend the money going to Ireland and wherever, or I could go and change my life and then maybe help others change their lives. And I was like, okay, this makes more sense in the bigger picture.
Okay, so I think you and I need to talk offline, because I've got this little crick in my neck I've had for, well, oh, sorry, back to Cayce remedies. I'm sorry.
Well, I like how you connected the dots of your journey, and obviously you didn't rub anyone the wrong way. Good and done.
Oh, Karen, no. Leave the jokes to me.
I thought that was a good one.
That was good, darn it.
Okay, so like you said, we're here to discuss the remedies, and we have on other shows talked about how much of a proponent of using castor oil Edgar Cayce was. But for those who haven't heard those shows or really are unfamiliar with that, can you tell us why he was so, I guess, in favor of using castor oil and why it's good for us?
Well, castor oil has a lot of healing properties to it, and I don't know the exact molecular makeup or any of that stuff, but it just has, he called it the palm of Christ. So it has like a mystical, to me, it has a mystical kind of unexplainable effervescence that makes it work. Because I'm not very scientific.
Sure, neither are we, so you're in perfect company. No worries.
So, it's magic oil. Got it. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I just, the palm of Christ, that's what it's called. Yeah. So I feel like that's, and there's just so many testimonials and so many little mini studies, because everybody needs to experiment with this stuff for themselves to see how it works best for them. And it's natural, there's no side effects typically, except for maybe being messy. Right. And everybody can get over that, right?
Right.
A little baking soda and warm water takes it right off. Right. So it's not that desperate. The second remedy, castor oil is like the first thing I go for.
Right.
The second one is Glyco.
Right, and I'm glad that you mentioned that, because it is the new thing that's gaining traction in the sphere, right? It's Glyco-Thymoline. Did I say that right?
Glyco-Thymolene.
Thymolene.
Almost. You were close.
I mean, it's close. I mean,
I mean,
Well, she just called it
just-
glyco.
I
So
just call it
gly-
glyco.
So-
Yeah, we shorten it to glyco.
Glyco-Thymolene. Okay, so what is it exactly?
Well, the creators of it, I guess it's Crest Company now. It's a family recipe. It was established in 1894, and so it's been around a long time. But it was advertised as a mouthwash originally, and it was good for mucosity.
Got it.
That's a nicer way of saying phlegmy stuff.
Got it, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mucosity. And then one of the earliest readings in 1924, Cayce mentions it in the reading for somebody who has a cold. And he talks about taking it internally, but also as a pack. You know, do the castor oil pack and then take your glycol inside, because he said it was an antiseptic,
Oh.
an alkalizing antiseptic. You don't drink a lot of it, just, you know, like 4 drops in a glass of water. You know, just enough to make the water tinge pink, but not so much that you can see the pink, you know.
Gotcha.
Right.
Can you taste it? Does it taste like anything?
Yeah, it does taste. It has thymol, or gosh, what is that? Thyme? Wait a minute. Thymol is what it's called. Eucalyptol, menthol, and a bunch of other long names that I can't pronounce.
So it kind of, it does also soothe, like we mentioned before the taping, that you had a cough.
Yeah, I've had a cough for about 3 weeks.
Oh.
And I'm used to having a deep, bare cough. And so I wasn't worried the first week. But then the second week it started to change a little bit, and it was starting to hurt.
Oh.
I mean, I was doing the Respicol, I was doing the Inspirol, which is like the cheaper version of a Charto keg. But, and then of course my other remedies that I normally take. But then it changed, so I ended up going to the doctor. He said it turned into bronchitis.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, so by the time your cold turns into bronchitis, yeah, you need to go see the doctor because it's getting kind of serious. And then I was preparing to come and speak, and I was like, "Duh, it's good for coughs. What are you doing, Renee?" So I started on Monday drinking it, and yeah, I can actually speak without hacking.
was
So
gonna say,
Wow, I haven't heard you cough since you've been here.
That's exactly where I was going to go. Yeah, there's no bear cough. There's no cough at all. So it's
barely, yeah. I had a couple this morning, and then yeah, it's really just clearing out
Wow. And how long have you been drinking it? You mentioned
since Monday.
since Monday.
Okay, so not even a week.
Yeah.
5 days. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, after doing all my other stuff too, but yeah, it's much nicer.
So I like it that she can give us her personal experience.
Yes.
Because it's one thing for someone to come on and say, "Oh, this stuff is really great. All these people have had these," but for you to come on and say, "I started taking this on Monday, and I've got bronchitis, but already I can have a conversation without, coughing up a lung in between it." That really shows us that it's, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, no, for sure. Now, you mentioned earlier that everyone has to try out the castor oil for themselves, see what's the best for. Same thing with glycol, where you
Yeah,
have to-
I mean, you'd want to look at the ingredients to make sure you're not allergic to anything. Maybe do a little patch test or something, and then with caution,
Right.
because not everybody can drink it.
Okay.
And you do want to be careful with it, because some of the ingredients, because they are essential oils, they can be a little strong over time. Those things build up in your liver over time.
okay.
So you do want to do it with caution. You don't want to just jump into it. You want to sit there, use your intuition with it, follow, check out the readings, make sure you find one that matches what your symptoms are, and kind of follow that. It's a good idea for any of the remedies in there to really use your intuition and really do a little bit of research before you jump into them.
Yeah.
Like you said, I've been doing, I taught Cayce remedies for, about 6-7 years, and I've just over and over proven to myself that these things do work. And I really, sometimes you forget to do them, like I should have been drinking Glyco the whole time. Totally forget about it, you know, and then you get reminded, you know, the universe sends you a little nudge and go, hey.
Right,
Yeah.
Right. And we also were talking to someone earlier about it's really good for sinuses and things like that as well. So how would someone use that?
Well, you can make it as a pack. And you just take a little bit of cloth, probably about this size, and you put your Glyco in it. So it could be like a gauze, or you could do a little linen cloth kind of thing. Just something that, even a washcloth, as long as it's cotton. You don't want to use any synthetics.
Right.
I was just watching a podcast on that earlier. Plastics are everywhere.
Oh my gosh, they're all in us now.
Yeah.
Holy
Oh,
moly.
yeah. You can't get away from it now.
That's a whole other conversation we can go down.
That is.
That's a rabbit hole. And then you fill it up with a little bit of Glyco, and then you just place it over your sinuses. So you have sinuses up here
Okay.
and underneath, and so you just put it straight over. Now, some people, like the first couple of times that I did that, it like there's a drawing power to it, and like it was pulling. It felt like it was pulling on my eyeballs.
Oh,
Wow.
So I
yikes.
started using just a cotton pad over the eyes, and then it was fine.
Okay.
I actually had a student that came to class one night who was miserable but could not afford to miss any classes. And it just happened to be Cayce Remedies, and I said, okay, we're going to throw a Glyco pack on you, and you're just going to lay here on this table while we're, doing the lecture, so you're not missing anything. And by the time she got up, she's like, I can breathe out her
Wow.
nose. From it.
And by putting it on, you mean just dab it on, or do you keep it on for
No,
a
you
bit?
just put the pack straight on.
And you just sit there for a little while?
Well, about 20 to 40 minutes.
Okay, all right.
So-
Whatever you got time for. You don't have to have a heating pad, but you can use one. Of course, you want to use a little plastic or something to protect the heating pad, because you don't want it
Yeah,
short
don't
on you. That's a whole nother issue. You can use a little heating pad, or you can just get a little bag of rice, the things you put over your eyes, and heat that up and put that on your eyes.
Oh, okay.
And that'll help it go in deeper.
So then I'm guessing this is something that would be too strong, just in case anyone's thinking this way out there, to use in an neti pot.
You can use it in a
Oh.
neti pot, but you do want to dilute it to like maybe 4 parts water to 1 part Glyco,
Okay.
or even less the first time you try to use it, like
Right.
maybe just a tablespoon of Glyco to
To the
maybe
pot.
a cup full of water, and try it. My instructor, Elaine Ruska, told a story on herself where she used it straight. And she said it burned so bad that tears were coming out of her eyes. It
Oh, my
burned so bad.
goodness.
So please
Yes.
Yeah.
Dilute.
dilute it.
A lot.
Yeah, the first few times you do it, and then, once the body gets acclimatized to it, you might be able to do it. Depends on how stuffed up you are,
Yeah.
because she was pretty stuffed up. She wanted to go play volleyball with her friends. They had a team here at one time, and so she was trying to hurry and get it done. She said it worked, but she could barely see to play
Wow,
volleyball
yeah.
because she was crying.
So I guess at this point, it might be prudent to reiterate the fact that these remedies are not something that you should run into just willy-nilly. Right? You should definitely take the time to educate yourself on the who, what, where, and when, because you could potentially do some damage. So the best thing to do is probably reach out to someone like Renee, or someone who understands how these remedies work and how best to use them. But the bottom line is to do your research before you
Yes.
throw yourself into these things, because these are things that are very powerful for the good, but can also can be overused. So please be careful. I think it's important to mention that right here.
Absolutely. So now we've talked a little bit about castor oil and the Glyco. What other remedies
Well,
would you...
Glyco can also be used for right before an adjustment, before you go to a chiropractor. There was a couple of readings where he suggested putting it on a pack along the spine and then getting your adjustment immediately afterwards.
Why? What
Oh.
does that do?
Well, it seems that it helps to relax the muscles around the spine, which helps with the adjustment. And it also helps to keep it longer. So like, sometimes you get adjusted and then the next day you need to be adjusted again
Right.
because muscles were so tight
Right.
that it pulled it right back out again. So that helps with the adjustments.
Gotcha.
He also recommended it as the last thing in a colonic,
Oh,
which, you know, Cayce is big on colonics to help with everything. He also suggested baking soda. So they put a little bit of baking soda in one of the washes towards the end, and that it was explained to me that it's like scrubbing bubbles.
oh wow.
Like the baking soda helps pull off stuff from the walls, and that the glyco acts as an antiseptic and a soother, alkalizing the system from that end as well.
Wow.
So those are both, those are used as the last washes here at the spa to help with the colonic, to help set your system back up for
Great.
future well-being.
It sounds like it might be good for muscles, for all kinds of things.
Everything.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
like
You just got to be careful, because
Castor
also you
oil.
don't want to not dilute it when you're doing that too, because
Yes. No. Oh, yeah, they dilute all that.
dilute.
Yes.
They dilute it, yeah. They have a very specific dilution rate that they use.
Okay.
Right. So yes, to Karen's point, we've talked about castor oil, now we talked about glycol. What else? What other marvelous thing is out there that he recommends?
There's so much. There's so
I'm
I
much.
sure.
can imagine.
Give us one or two that
Well,
you feel.
on the theme of colds, Respicol is a recipe for a cough syrup, but it's not a cough syrup it soothes the throat, but it's also an emunctorant. It helps you cough, but it doesn't hurt to cough.
Right.
Oh.
So it gets it all out.
Yeah, it
Right,
helps
you
get
it
the
out.
phlegm up
Right.
and out.
Oh.
Right.
Inspirol is like I said, it's the cheap man's charred oak keg. And it's alcohol based. You just shake it up real good. It comes with a tube, and you put the tube in, and then you breathe in. You can breathe in through your nose or your nostrils to help clear the passages.
Right.
And you can breathe it in just through the throat too. And that helps to purify the lungs.
Wow.
Helps
Yeah,
with that.
There's so much out there.
And those are great, because when you have a cold, it's like you're achy, but the worst thing is the not being able to breathe.
Yes.
You know,
that is
that's
the
like
worst
one of
thing.
those. So if these remedies can help with that,
Oh yeah,
you're, step ahead.
it just makes you miserable when you can't
yeah.
breathe.
Yeah. It's
Yep,
terrible.
Yep. So you have made a convert in me, so I appreciate it. If someone wanted to get these remedies, how can someone who maybe, whether they're here in Virginia Beach or elsewhere, what's the
Well,
best way
there's
for them to go?
circulating files that have some of these remedies in it. And there's also, they can go to the A.R.E. bookstore and purchase them. There's a couple of other places in Virginia Beach, but you can also just go directly to Bar Products, and they, of course, have all this stuff on their website. And then they also have little videos explaining some of the things, how to use them. They have little formulas. They put all the ingredients on there so you can see. And Bruce Barr has done a really good job with the remedies. And
Yeah, and we've
so
chatted
there's
with
so
him on
many
here
things.
before.
We have, yeah. I remember Mr. Barr.
Yeah.
So are there events that the A.R.E. is holding that if someone's interested in these kinds of things could learn more about remedies? I remember you mentioned classes and things like that.
Well, the classes, the Cayce Remedy class is part of the massage school. So that's kind of like you have to come
Yeah.
to learn to be a massage therapist to get that
Gotcha.
information.
Gotcha.
I don't know if they have anything scheduled right now, like any CE courses that anybody could just join. I know that they have various lectures occasionally, webinars and that sort of thing, where we do have like Dr. Monty come in and do some lectures and do some items. Congress is usually a good time to come visit here.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would imagine you get all of that information just from edgarcayce.org/events or resources or
Yes, our
different.
website has all that fun stuff on it.
Great.
And if you're a member, you can always go straight into the readings and just type in the word and it'll bring stuff up. Or,
That's awesome.
of course, you have to remember they called certain diseases different things in the 20s, 30s, 40s than we do now.
Right.
Right.
Like, it's muscle rheumatism is what they called it, but
Oh,
it's what we call now.
Like rheumatoid arthritis, or
Well, it was actually that, I can't even think of the word now. I know the old word, I don't know the new word. But it's the one where you have different pains just pop up different places all over the body.
Oh, it's just so old
Fibromyalgia.
age to me.
fibromyalgia.
Oh,
Okay.
fibromyalgia.
Old age.
Gotcha.
Well, yeah, it's that too.
Daily life.
Yeah, fibromyalgia. I was like, I did a research paper on it. Why can't I remember the word?
Yeah, that makes
fine.
sense. Yeah, terms change over time
Yeah.
for sure.
So just try to, like, if you can't find the word in the readings, type in some of the symptoms and see if you just keep trying until it brings it up for you.
Right.
Great.
Or they could always reach out to you and say, "Hey, Renee, what do I do?
I need some
got
help."
this." Right. This has been wonderful. Thank you so much for opening up our eyes to a lot of these remedies, because it's a whole new world for me, especially, that
Yeah,
I would love to
absolutely.
dive into. So, if someone wanted to learn more about this or reach out to you, what's the best way for someone to do that?
It's just Renee at edgarcayce.org.
Okay.
Perfect.
Easy enough.
I like that. Easy peasy.
All right. Well, thanks again for being on the show.
Thank you.
Well, that does it for this episode of New Awakenings with Edgar Cayce's A.R.E. If you missed any part of this conversation or any of our other ones, all you need to do is go to edgarcayce.org/resources, of course, where all of the episodes are listed there for you to enjoy at a moment's notice. So, hope you enjoyed as much as we have. For now, I am Will.
And I'm Karen.
And this has been New Awakenings with Edgar Cayce's A.R.E.